Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day today. Good day for me. Let's talk about. I've talked about it before, but I really want to talk about it again for a certain reason. I'll show you why in a minute. And that's this is Masters Bay rum. Pretty much any bay rum, they're all pretty similar. There are differences, but they're all pretty similar. The concept is the same, right? Bay leaf and rum of some sort, or rum accord, some kind of alcoholic accord. But the reason I want to talk about this again is I picked up this the other day for $2 at the flea market, and it's a solid cologne. I hardly ever see solid colognes around, and I don't buy them a lot. I like solid colognes personally because I like the. As I get older, in my younger days, brash, youthful. I wanted a fragrance to be brash, loud, and youthful, just like me. But as I get older, I'm mellowed a bit, and I tend to like my fragrances a little mellow. And I find these uh, solid colognes, wax colognes, whatever you want to call them, have a good staying power without being pushy. They're not super loud for the most part, and they just sit on the skin. I mean, wax, it sits on the skin, right? I mean, you ever drop water on wax, it beads off. So they stay for quite a while. Anyway, I picked this up for $2. Solid cologne, bay rum, saddle, handmade in Oregon. So it's got the notes on the back of it, or the ingredients. Virgin coconut oil, white beeswax, avocado oil, some meadow foam seed oil, I don't know what that is. Bay rum oil, sandalwood, amber oil, cedarwood, and a little citrus. So that's kind of the notes and whatnot. And bay rum, uh, it's a very masculine, old school type masculine smell. There's no doubting that. Uh, it's basically a spiced rum and bay leaves. I mean, honestly, is kind of what it is, right? And the spices is your classic Caribbean kind of spice, cinnamon, nutmeg, things like that, or all pepper, are all in this. Right off the top, though, you're hit with the orange smell that this has, a bit of that citrus, the orange, and the notes are orange, bay leaf, lavender, musk. Again, spiced rum, nutmeg, cinnamon, pepper, things like that. But I am hit with that orange right off the top, just for a few minutes. You really get an orangey kind of vibe to it, a spiced orangey kind of vibe with that rum. That cinnamon nutmeg is prominent with just a hint of the sweet, spicy rum. A soapy, clean lavender you pick up. And that green kind of herbaceous bay leaf. Almost minty, green, minty freshness from the bay leaf. Into a base of a more clean, soapy musk, moss, and woods. Mostly cedar I'm picking up in the woods, but it's just, yeah. And that's kind of the fragrance, guys. It's slightly sweet, spicy, old school, soapy, clean, barbershop aftershave kind of smell. It's the best way I can describe it. I enjoy bay rum. I always like bay rum. It's just one of those things that you either like or you don't. So you can pick up a bottle of most bay rum aftershaves for like $5-10. So if you don't know what it smells like and you want to try, you're not going to be out a lot of money if you want to try it. But forewarned, old school. It is definitely old school. This is kind of the same thing, like I just described, except in the base there is a soft suede like leather to it. And I layered them, and I'm not a layering guy. In the sense of your traditional layering guy, I like to layer things that, like oils that, like if something has a coconut in it, I'll layer it with a coconut oil, or in amber, I'll layer it with an amber oil. So that's why I layered it with this bay moss or bay rum saddle and bay rum aftershave. Figured they'd go good together. I was right, it just kind of You know, it took this performance, which isn't the greatest element, 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours at best, and kind of didn't do a whole lot for the projection or the sillage, but it lasted on the skin. We're talking 7, 8 hours because of that wax, right? A light fragrance though. It's not like you're gonna, you know, fill up a room with it. And how I applied it, the way you always apply these, kind of rub a little bit behind the ear, behind this ear, rub a little bit down, a little bit down, a little bit down, a little bit down, a little bit down. Splash on some bay rum, put a little bit more on, put it on my shirt, wipe it on my hands, elbows. And yeah, like I said, projection, pretty good because it's an aftershave. For the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes, this thing is pretty beast. It's out there more than an arm's length. Comes in really quick though after that. After about an hour, you get a small bubble, leaving a small trail. You pick up little whiffs and wafts of it. For about an hour and a half, 2 hours, then it's a very light skin scent. That's where this starts taking over. A couple inches off, but it stays for a solid 4 or 5 more hours with this light skin scent because of this. And it was just nice. It was fun. I love bay rum. I don't know how much of this is true, how much is false. I don't know. It's a little story time about bay rum. So if you're done with the video, fine. That's a review. Great. Compliment factor. Didn't get any. Hard to smell without really getting close though. So, and it is pretty old school, so it may not be the best compliment getter, though it is very clean. So women generally like clean. So anyway, it's going to be up to you to try to find that out. But the story, there's 2 different stories and they're kind of the same. Bay rum was invented by sailors in the 1800s who discovered, I like that word discovered. They didn't discover it. I guarantee natives in the Caribbean islands and stuff where they discovered the basil and or the bay leaf and its deodorizing probabilities. They didn't discover it. Natives back there were rubbing it all on. So it's like most of my people who watch are on the American continent. So the Native Americans, the same way they would rub sage, sweetgrass, mints, use it for tooth cleaning their mouth, their body and stuff. Same way, they didn't discover it. They were shown it. They probably did discover, they did discover that, the bay leaf was more effective if you crushed it up, put it in some rum and let it kind of distill for a while. It worked better as a deodorant. When I say deodorant too, you got to think not new school kind of deodorant. When they mean by deodorant is putting it on their body to mask their odor. Although they say pirates found it and then sailors found it. Like I said, 2 different stories, but kind of the same who discovered it first. Either way, sailors were very clean and pirates were extremely clean from what I've read. Get that old dirty pirate Hollywood image out of your mind. Pirates knew that the cleaner the ship, the cleaner their body, the less illnesses would be on ship and the less chance of death from dying because you're sick, dysentery and stuff. So pirates were very clean for the time. I mean, I'm not saying they were as clean as us or anything, although some people, soap and water won't hurt. So they would use this when they couldn't take a bath for a few days, because pirates did and sailors, but pirates in particular, really like to have a bath every few days just to clean themselves, because they knew. They also used vinegars and wines and stuff to clean their ship, the areas of the ship, because they knew it was. But anyway, history lesson over. I'm not a history teacher. So yeah, it's got some history behind it. It's definitely has an old school vibe. Some bay rums, like I said, actually have rum in it, or a rum. They don't have real rum. They have, we call it rum accord, or a liquor accord. Some have mixes of notes to give you a kind of rum vibe. But in general, it's an alcoholic, and I don't mean like a fumer's alcohol, I mean drinking alcohol, an alcoholic vibe. And it's great. I love bay rum. I've always liked bay rum. Since I first smelled it years ago, I love bay rum. So old school, spicy, soapy, clean, herbaceous. Just a great, and adding this to it, just like I said, didn't do a whole lot for the projection and sillage, but man, did it ever help the fucking longevity out. So, hey guys, that was it just for fun. Little combination. Bay rum aftershave, bay rum solid cologne, mixed together. It's bay rum. What more can I say? All right, guys. Peace, love, be good to each other, and be good to yourselves.